Imagine MLK deciding to make a speech where he talks about how we can live as one American people regardless of skin color. 50 or 60 years later, people started a movement called Let's Go Black to Africa. If they had a time machine, do you guys think that they would just go back and say, hey, MLK, chill, chill, chill. We don't gotta live together. We're gonna go black to Africa, okay? None of this I have a dream bullshit. How about I have a plane ticket to Africa tomorrow? Moving to Africa to escape racism. I've thought about this a few times. I'm like, they might be nicer to my people over there.
Good morning, YouTube. I tried so hard to stay here in Africa, but I really think my time is up now. I had enough. I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bullshit bribery, the bullshit scams, the bullshit not having no snacks.
Let it be known that there are
not having no snacks. Was that really? I mean, we do have some good snacks over here. We do have, I don't want to say that I judged you by your cover because I would never judge a book by its cover, but you look like, you know, a high calorie human. You know, you look like a high calorie human, and that's beautiful. And I would say America is where the snacks are at, you know? It's a trade-off. You get a little more racism, but a little more snacks, you know? It's not too shabalaba.
The bullshit scam, the bullshit not having no snacks.
Let it be known that there are no snacks in Africa. Racism is rough, but have you ever been to a country with no snacks before?
I cannot afford to live here.
A person of size, a high-calorie individual? Yes, yes, yes.
I feel broke and I feel poor in Africa. I feel like I'm going to be out there selling some shit soon.
How are you broke in a third world country? Half the reason people move to these places and put up with a lower standard of living is because it's cheaper.
That's true.
That being said, over the years, there have been many people who feel that America is a bad place to live, and so they're moving.
I guess the problem is that you don't realize how nice it is until you leave it. You know, that's kind of like a metaphor that you can use for a lot of things. Use it for relationships, maybe business deals that you have that you don't realize how good they are until they're done. But with America, I feel like a lot of people who want to leave end up actually doing it are like, oh, fuck, why did I do that? Wait, I took that for granted. You know, they kind of realize that.
Leaving by the end of the year.
I know you're in Argentina, but, you know.
Yeah. Living in the U.S. was too triggering.
Granted, most of these...
Wait, is that true?
The U.S. was too...
He actually moved to Argentina. Noah Samson moved to Argentina?
By the end of the year.
I know you're in Argentina, but, you know.
Yeah. Living in the U.S. was too triggering.
Wait, is that a joke?
Granted, most of these situations are just with no intention of moving, threatening to move because their favorite presidential candidate lost. But some of these people actually stick to their word, and because of that, we have a lady who has moved to Ghana in Africa. However, after just a handful of weeks of living there, she's starting to think that maybe America isn't so bad, and one of the big reasons why she wants to move back to the U.S. is because Africa is too expensive.
This ain't making no sense to me. I pay $130 a day to drive around in a truck. I pay $100 a day to live in a 2-bedroom, and there's 6 of us. With no hot water, no stove.
This sounds terrible. Why would you ever do this? Because of racism? Whoa, my God. Whoa, my God. You did this to yourself. I don't understand what the value proposition was. Really was moving to Africa to escape racism. Getting a lower standard of living to escape racism. So you experienced a lower standard of living because of something that you had as a perceived threat, which was racism. You're like, hey, let me fuck my life up real quick because maybe there is racism. Let me just neuter my happiness, enjoyment, and overall standard of living because, you know, people are saying the N-word or something. They're not even saying that. What even is the racism? I don't understand why you'd pay so much money to move to a different country when you could just move to a different state and live with family or something. Well, unfortunately, what you're saying is reasonable and these people are unreasonable. And what you're honestly saying is something where moving to a different state, you're still in America. The problem is with the system, okay?
No refrigerator. The refrigerator broke.
How are you paying $130 a day for a car? That's like $4,000 a month. Are you financially retarded? That's the payment of a car that is well over $100,000. There's no way that this is the only way to get transportation in Africa.
I live in America in a mansion, and we don't have to put no water on the stove. We got steady hot water, steady electricity, and the only time our electricity get cut off is when we don't pay the bill. And we got it so good now, we got prepaid electricity, so if we forget to pay the bill, we put some money on that prepaid thing and it comes right back on in 2 minutes.
I gotta say, I have no idea how long it would take for the electricity company to turn my power back on because I've never been late on the bill. Even if the bill is past due, I believe there's like a 10-day grace period before they shut your power off. So this chick must be incredibly irresponsible with money. Also, welcome to the developing world. I don't know why you moved expecting the exact same modern conveniences as America, but it kind of seems like this lady had some pretty rose-tinted glasses before she went to Africa.
Well, not only does moving not fix racism, right? Like you can't, like racism is everywhere, right? Like you can't go anywhere where there isn't racism. And also, I think out of countries that are fully developed, America, you know, like Japan, like all of these very modern countries, there is just so much that allows you to avoid things that you don't like. It really just comes down to lifestyle, you know? Like if you're so upset about racism, you could easily modify your life within the country to make it so that you're less, you know, exposed to this stuff, which I don't even know where it is, where it's showing up in your life. But again, like you could just move to a different state or a different community. But if you're seeing it all online, then you just have to go offline or, you know, just make it so that you're muting stuff and intentionally curating your algorithm to make it so that it's pleasing you and not displeasing you. I'm not even joking when I say this. You fell for the rage bait. You moved to Africa because of rage bait. People are being racist for impressions, and then assuming that's what made you leave. That's crazy.
Like she didn't even vacation there for a week to see if she liked the place.
The bullshit animals and scorpions outside the house.
What?
It's big ass spiders. It's big ass lizards. Colorful lizards you ain't never seen before. All in the fucking room with you. Sleeping with you.
Did you even research this place before you moved? You know there's this website called YouTube where you can watch people share their experiences of what it's like to live in different countries. And more importantly, those people will also tell you all the positives and negatives of that area.
I'm not happy. Every house I look for, the house is expensive as hell. Oh my God. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, $1 million to live in a house where you look outside and all you see is turkeys and ducks and chickens and sheeps and old malnourished cows. I didn't even pay that much for my house in America.
Again, this would have been incredibly easy to just Google. Here, I did this.
Yeah, I don't understand how you just do not know where you're going. You know that there's like 3D tours of the inside of these homes and you can like look out the window. Like, how did you miss all these fucking turkeys that you're talking about? What? Where do you live? What are you talking about? This is insane to me. How do you just not know? How are you just guessing? Is this person just dropping a random pin in some part of Africa and is like, all right, fuck it, we're flying? That's crazy to me. I feel like I have to be very particular with where I'm going. I research the shit out of like the Airbnbs that I stay at and the hotels that I stay at. Bro, if I'm gonna live somewhere, I'm doing a fuckload of research. YOLO mindset, yeah. I don't hear no chirping from a fire alarm though. Oh my God, that's I mean,
like 10 seconds.
I mean, with this haircut, I don't know if I can say anything about that.
House is in Ghana.
By the way, subscribe to make me feel better about this haircut. If you're not subscribed, bro, we're gonna have an issue, bro. I went through all this and I'm broadcasting myself when you're not subbed.
So why are the housing prices such a...
I do that shit when I try a food spot. Yeah, like if you're not looking at the lowest reviews for the restaurant that you're going to, then I don't know what you're doing. You have to look and see how these people were treated in the bathroom afterward, you know? Like how the back door was looking, you know?
A shock to you.
All the bullshit people trying to scam you when you go outside thinking you rich, so they trying to get more money off of you. I can't afford to live here. I cannot. I love the people. Don't get me wrong, when I'm outside, I'm having fun. I love the people. I'm really trying to wrap my head around how are Americans coming to Africa and being happy. Please comment down below, because for me, I'm ready to go. And I always used to say, if it's up to me, it will be. And I'm going to go out to Africa and make shit happen. No, I don't want to. I want to take my businesses back to America. I want to open up shop back in America, open up my dentist office and all the stuff that I was going to do out here in America.
You're opening up a dentist's office? I'm confused why. Wouldn't the most customers be in America for that? No. Britain, US, no, UK, beans on toast, the most decrepit, atrocious, deformed, demented teeth you've ever seen. The chompers on those fellas, really fucked.
The people, but everyone's a scammer. Sounds great. Anyway, that's all for that video, and most people who reacted to this clip thought the story was over. However, I did some research, and apparently this is a whole movement called Blaxit. I found several channels of...
What the fuck is this? Blaxit is a social movement that promotes repatriation of Black/African Americans from the United States and Europe to move back to Africa. The term now includes people of African heritage who desire to move to Africa for many reasons. Nice.
The Black people sharing their experiences of leaving America to escape racism, I guess. More importantly, though, one of the channels called Go Black to Africa had an archive...
Go black to Africa. That is such a, I mean, look, I mean, if I said something like that, I would be called a neo-Nazi. Go black to Africa. Wow.
That shows that this event with Ghana Lady actually happened back in 2020. I believe she used to
I mean, they're literally self-segregating. They're fucking self-segregating. They're like, yeah, we can't be around, like that's crazy.
YouTube channel, but it's been since deleted, so unfortunately there's no deep dive. However, the good news is that an additional video about her move was archived, so the story continues. In this next video, our Africa lady gets on camera with her husband. His role is not that important. He stays silent almost the entire time.
It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. Imagine MLK deciding to make a speech where he talks about how we can live as one American people, regardless of skin color. Blacks and whites can live together in America. Just for like 50 or 60 years later, people started a movement called Let's Go Black to Africa. If they had a time machine, do you guys think that they would just go back and say, hey, MLK, chill. We don't gotta live together. We're gonna go black to Africa, okay? None of this I have a dream bullshit. How about I have a plane ticket to Africa tomorrow? What is the point? I really don't understand why they would want that. Like, America's pretty great. That's pretty nice. Like, I honestly do think, like, even though that there is, you know, a history of slavery and Jim Crow, aren't the richest black people from America? Like, maybe there's some, like, African mineral billionaire, but, like, isn't, like, Kanye West, bro, he's a fucking black billionaire. He's American. It's a land of opportunity, goddammit. I'm feeling patriotic.
But outside of that, this video is a response to the backlash that she got for the first one. Well, backlash is probably the wrong word. People were making fun of her.
I was basically telling everybody what they will experience when they come to the motherland. And we keep...
Yeah, I'm looking at this. Yes, most of the richest black people are American. Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, Kanye, Michael Jordan, Tyler Perry, Robert F. Smith, tech investor and philanthropist, LeBron. But some of the wealthiest black people are not American. Then there's a bunch of, I think, African people who are just in oil. Yeah, so look, I mean, that's what I'm telling you, bro. America's pretty great. Ain't nobody moving black to Africa. Dubai is the land of black rich people. But yeah, but the richest are American.
And raw and unfiltered, uncut. So you have everybody talking about, oh, the motherland is beautiful. It is a beautiful place.
The fucking motherland? How did I miss that?
But you gotta know reality when you get here. Reality has to set in. So I'm basically telling them, look, when you come here, don't think it's gonna be a parade for you, because it's not. Don't think that it's going to be snacks and it's going to be the same thing in America, because it's not.
Wow, she is really insistent on
really
the
big on
thing.
Really big on the snacks, dude. I'll tell you this. I would miss the snacks. I really would.
You would think that this would be more of a wake-up call for her to get
her husband, the most on-screen side character. Oh, yeah, I mean, forget about him.
Healthy, but it probably wasn't. That being said, she elaborates more on why she decided to move to Africa.
And I'm very in tune. I'm very in tune with the universe. I'm very in tune with my ancestors. I heard the calling and I came. Africa.
What does that mean? What is the calling? Weren't your ancestors like American? Like, obviously, like, slavery brought them to America. That's why you were born in America. Honestly, black people are very American. I don't know, black people have deep roots in this country.
It needs help. It needs work. We came out here to build Africa. I closed all my businesses down.
Why? That's just literally a humiliation ritual. That is just self-harm. I don't understand this. This has to be staged. Dude, I don't get this. I really don't.
Of course, I could have stayed in that colonized as United Snakes of America.
United Snakes of America? Is that what you just said?
And dealt with their bullshit and kept getting my money, okay?
No way. Yeah, that's me when I'm gonna kneel for the national anthem.
I could have stepped in. I could have dealt with that. But no, I decided, no, I'm going to close all shop. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to get me a bus. And I'm gonna do free teeth cleaning and spas for the people in the village.
Right, okay, so she moved for humanitarian reasons because Africa needs help. I can agree with that. There's a lot of poverty and suffering there. It would be nice if there were less of those. So Ghana Lady wants to help, which is why she moved to the safest and most developed part of the country.
We came from the gutter, and we managed to pull ourselves up and look at everybody else still sitting there. So we're not going to go to Africa and be fucked up and be guttered too. I ain't asked nobody for nothing. I didn't ask for no handouts. I didn't ask for no parades. I was just sharing my experience. Yes,
Isn't the whole reason that you made this because you're complaining about how fucked up it is? Whether or not you asked for a handout doesn't change the fact that your life has drastically decreased in quality since you've made this decision. So whether or not you asked for a handout, like, okay, like you have your pride, but you're living in poverty. Genuinely do understand and wanting to reconnect with where your cultural roots are. I don't see an issue on that part. Well, yeah, that's what a vacation is for, right? That's like, oh, if I were to say, I'm Italian, let's go back to Italy. Or like, you know, for me, like I'm part French, I'm part Irish, I'm part Puerto Rican. If I were to go to France and like learn about French history, like, okay, that makes sense. But it's like, I'm not gonna just move to France because like, you know, some person in my bloodline 50 or 70, no, not 50 years ago, like 200 years ago was born in France. Also, those same ancestors made the decision to leave France.
In Accra, and I knew that Accra was the most expensive place, and I knew it was the most developed as well. I wanted to be in a developed place, but at the end of the day, don't shit me. I always used to say, get me, don't shit me.
For some reason, though, I feel like she's lying about something. I mean, she touts herself as this rich entrepreneur with multiple businesses.
I have money. I can go wherever the fuck I want to go.
So she's this great rich
What?
business owner, but she's having trouble paying her electric bill, and she stresses out about houses that are a few $100,000, which is insane because dentists make a lot of money for taking care of people's teeth, and I assume that her husband works too, and they previously owned a house, so they would have money from selling that. Like, how are they strapped for cash? Maybe there's something I'm missing here, but at a first glance, it sounds like they make a lot of irresponsible financial decisions.
But I want to live better in Africa than I do at home, of course. So, of course, I came out here to buy beach land. While I'm building a house, buy another house to live in while I built my house, because I'd be damned if I'm going to be sitting in somebody's living room.
Which is crazy because the video that everyone knows you for was filmed in someone else's living room at an Airbnb that you rented in Africa.
I rent an Airbnb for $100 a night. Airbnb.
$400 a night? What on earth are you thinking? How would you ever get swindled like that? She's talking about how African people on the side of the road are trying to scam her, and, you know, she misses US where they weren't trying to scam her. Hey, you're getting scammed every night by paying $400 for an Airbnb. You realize you can get a nice hotel for like $200 a night? You can save half the... I really don't understand this. Why?
These, if you want a nice one, it's going for $100 a night.
So for a while, you rented a broken Airbnb for $100 a day, and then you bought a house so you could live in Africa while your beachfront property was being...
I think she said 100. Oh, I heard 400.
...built. Like, you're complaining about everything being too expensive, while at the same time you choose the most expensive path to live in. Any other dumb financial decisions that you want to complain about?
We have 5 children, but we only have 4 of us. Four children with us. And there's 2 of us, so it's 6 of us all right now. As far as me renting a car or whatever, how else am I getting around? Every little car is that small. It's little bugs. All of us, 6 of us, cannot get in little bugs and ride around. So I had to rent a big SUV that can go through these muddy streets, because the streets, as you know, aren't paved.
Is this whole video just her shitting on Africa? Is this just her complaining about how impossible it is to live in Africa? Like, it's just hard mode, and that she only did this because, like, racism was bad and her ancestors were calling on her, and now she's just like, oh, it kind of sucks? Is this just all this is? Because ultimately, like, you don't have to tell me how bad it is. Like, I trust that you're right. Like, I trust that you're right, and I would trust that the U.S. is better. Like, the U.S. is very modern. It's, for the problems that it has, it's still overall, I would say, the best country in the world. Or, yeah, honestly, best country in the world. Maybe like, you know, maybe top 5, but still, like, I mean, like, it sounds like you're experiencing problems that you had not previously experienced.
So we have to have a 4-wheel drive that can get through these streets. So me renting a vehicle was $130 a day. I knew that was going to be the case anyway. If you go research too, you'll find out that that's the average of a vehicle. So I didn't get gaffled nowhere. I just don't like the prices.
Let me clarify that she lives in a place called Accra, which is the capital city of Ghana. This is a well-developed area that has roads and people with normal cars. According to my research, really the only places that have dirt roads in Accra are the new housing developments, which is typical of any housing development. Now, after researching the specifics of this, I have to say that if you do things properly outside of schooling, Ghana is a very affordable place to live. Accra is a place where you can basically get a full meal for $1 from street food vendors that look actually very clean. India should take notes. That being said, the $7,000 a month for a car and an Airbnb is ridiculous. I checked out car rentals, and it looks like they're about the same price as American car rentals. Even with COVID pricing, an SUV is probably not costing $130 a day, unless it's a luxury vehicle.
Canadians fuming right now.
As for why she's renting,
That's fucked.
well, that's because there's not really a leasing system in Ghana. If you want a car, you have to pay for it.
Bro, that's crazy because on a similar note, I was studying the UK, and my favorite UK greeting is Assalamu alaikum.
In full, unless you want to pay like 25% interest. But paying in full shouldn't be a problem because Miss Dennis said that she was rich. And I assure you that no actual rich person would want to burn money at the rate of $46,000 a year if they could afford the car outright. I mean, it would be cheaper to just Uber everywhere or take a shuttle bus. As for the house, she is correct in saying that renting is quite expensive in Accra.
Bro, $3,500 a month? What are your amenities?
That's if you rent a house. However, there are plenty of apartment complexes that cost almost nothing compared to what her Airbnb costs that could fit her whole family while her house is being built. I'm not sure if you have to pay in full like you do for the cars, but $100,000 shouldn't be that much because she's rich. There are plenty of things that she can do if she doesn't like the prices, but I'm guessing she doesn't want to do that because it sounds like she's burning money trying to live some sort of luxury lifestyle that she can't actually afford. Like I said, I think there's a lot that she's lying about. I'm not going to trust a dentist with crooked teeth. Anyway, let's continue to hear what it's like to live outside the Western standard of living.
Don't have me come all the way out here, and because you see I'm American, which you don't even know that I'm a Ghanaian too, but okay, I'm gonna give you that I'm American because of my accent. So don't have me come all the way to Africa and say a house is $400,000, but you tell me it's $700,000 because you feel as though I'm rich. Everybody I've ever talked to looked at me like I was dollar signs. As soon as they see me, it's money, money, money. I can tell you 15 stories right now since we've been in Africa where people try to overcharge us and overprice us, and I'm on their ass.
Right, so not only is she going for the most expensive land, but there are also tons of scammers who are trying to charge her double for the house because she's American. It's funny how she'll call the US the United Snakes of America, followed by going to Africa and being flooded with tons of people trying to scam her. And
I think for all the problems that the US has, there's a reason why we're not known for scamming, okay? That has been, like, undisputed champion of scamming, India. They're rank 1. If anyone even tries to step to India, then we've seriously had a culture shock because India, they've had that shit on a lock, and I'll give them credit for it. I'll give them the praise for being number 1 in something. And it may not be a good thing, but they're number 1, right? They have that script where they're gonna call you, hey, I'm from Windows. Hey, I'm from the IRS. Hey, I'm from Apple. Wow, a lot of calls from Apple and Microsoft today. I have an Android. I'm getting calls from Apple. Hey, it's all good though. India has scholarships for that. Are you fucking serious? Am I just racist for believing that, or is that like actually a thing? Anyway, forget that. My point is, America, for all of its flaws, maybe it's known for racism, you can say that, but it's not known for scamming. And I would say at the end of the day, racism is a thing that will upset you and will make you feel ousted, but it will not result in you being tricked by an Apple employee into giving them your SSN. That is true.
And gee, it's so weird to be in a place where people will look at you and treat you worse than others based on your birthplace. That almost sounds like prejudice. In fact, it sounds exactly like prejudice.
You're not going to fuck with me. You're not going to fuck me over. You're not going to have me come all the way the hell out here to build your dirty ass country up for you to sit here and tell me, oh, in order for you to get out the airport, you're going to have to pay us $1,800. In order for you to get out the airport, you're going to have to put $200 extra. In order for you to get out the airport, I'm going to tell your husband that he tested positive for coronavirus so you can pay me some extra money. Fuck no.
It looks like Miss Black Savior out here who came to fix Africa, got a reality check, and got some insight into what's actually hurting the motherland. It's not some white oppressor. It's culture and how their society is structured. And if you're trying to fix that structure, then maybe you shouldn't move to someone else's land, call it a dirty-ass country, and then behave like the natives are inferior to you.
And so for the people who say, oh, Africa is not weak, it's not for weak people, let me tell you something. All Africans are weak. I got a fucking African father who weak as fuck. I know all Africans are weak. They aren't built like us in America.
How are you not prejudiced or a racist? How are you not a part of the problem that you said you wanted to get away from?
So let's be honest and let's keep it real. Nobody wants to live like this. They shouldn't even be living like this. I want to take half of Africa back to America because they can see how real living is. Because this shit is pathetic.
Right, take all the Africans to the land of the white colonizers to show them what real living is like. You can't make up this extreme lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, it sounds kind of racist.
But the worst part of their YouTube channel being gone is that I really wonder what exactly she considers to be racist. What was so bad about America that she thought that moving to Ghana would be better? Because really, basically when these types complain about racism, most of it amounts to people just being kind of mean, which is nothing compared to how she said she was being treated by the people in Ghana. So I can't give her exact words on how she defines racism, but there are other channels with black people who have moved to Ghana for the same reasons, who have also shared similar sentiments about scammers, by the way.
I think of a story of my mother-in-law who was talking about having to get her electricity taken care of, and every time she would go to pay the bill,
Melanin there.
the person who would process her would be like, oh, there's another fee
I kind of like that, though. That's kind of cute. It's very dad-coded.
that wasn't there last time. But what they wanted was this cash bribe to get things done.
Right.
You're always having to think about, is somebody trying to get it over on me?
Imagine having no idea what to expect in terms of monthly bills because everyone's trying to rip you off. But since this family shares some similar beliefs to the previous one, maybe we can get some sort of answer by listening to what their gripes are about American racism as they talk about going back to visit family after being in Africa for a while.
I mean, it's like there's still prejudice. Like, for what she described is that the African locals are profiling her as an American, and then they're treating her differently. And that's exactly what happens with racism. And it's the same thing that happens with racism in that it's not different treatment in a good way, it's different treatment in a bad way, right? It's just not xenophobic, but once you're profiled as something and you're treated negatively, you're a target for scams. It's like, okay, well, you can either choose to get treated badly in terms of being a scam target in Africa or choose to get treated badly as a racial profile in America. You're picking your poison. Nowhere is perfect. Everywhere is going to have flaws and things that make the day-to-day life worse, that are going to hinder your enjoyment of life as we know it. I think the better of two evils, but I don't even think America is evil, or I don't even think Africa is evil. But if you want to put it like that, it would be America.
But yeah, we were in a store. We were literally the only black people that I'd seen for about 45 miles.
That doesn't sound like racism. That just sounds like you're unhappy if white people exist around you, which actually makes you seem kind of racist. I mean, I've visited plenty of places where whites aren't the majority, and I've never felt like people were racist just for existing around me as a different race. And let me just emphasize that they aren't the first ones to accuse white people of being racist simply because they're in the majority. It's literally the main argument of Robin DiAngelo's famous book, White Fragility, and a lot of people repeat that sentiment.
They do have CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera here, international news stations that put it out there as it is.
Right, of course, they watch CNN, the network that is notorious for lying about everything, and will go as far as to doctor footage of Joe Rogan to make him look more sick because he didn't agree with them on COVID.
This was crazy. Do you guys remember this? CNN, the day they flushed everything down the toilet, was when they had literally shown altered footage of Joe Rogan. They had color corrected him. They put a filter on him to make him look yellow and ill. It's literally fake news. This is fake. This is dishonest. Media manipulation. I couldn't believe this, how this was published. Instagram, Joe Rogan, and it's just not the video he posted. They had downloaded the MP4, altered it, and then re-uploaded it to spin a narrative. Joe Rogan, controversial podcast host, says he tested positive for COVID-19. Literally sickening.
Joe Rogan to make him look more sick because he didn't agree with them on COVID. So this couple probably doesn't have the most accurate depiction of America, but let's continue with what else they think is racist.
That's true, yeah. If you're gonna flex that Africa has access to CNN, it's like, bruh. Oh, I'm sold.
You had an experience when you were at the mall.
Yeah, so I'm out at the mall wearing...
Do you think the vaccines were useful? I have no fucking clue, to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest, I literally do not really know how vaccines work, and so whether or not they're useful is hard for me to judge, right? Because it's like, I know how food works. I know that it stops you from being hungry, right? So it's like, did that food work? Well, the question worked. Did it make you less hungry? Yeah, it did. The vaccine Does it make you less prone to COVID? I don't know. I'd have to see the data. I didn't really look at any of that stuff. I assume there's a chance maybe it's not. There's a lot of vaccine skeptics out there. Like, I didn't follow it that much.
This exact
Honestly, bro, like, because during COVID, I was in quarantine. I was doing school online. I wasn't researching vaccines. I was just playing Counter-Strike all day on Discord with my friends.
outfit, this shirt, and my necklace and my bracelet. Something I would wear any day in Ghana, and it just be a normal outfit.
Oh man, that's too black. That's too ethnic.
You know, the black people who saw me, I would get jeers from them like, "Oh, who's this guy? Where's he from? What point?" It was like, what point is he trying to make? You can see that in the like.
No, you can't wear
What's
that
up, Sean?
here.
Yeah, it was like, you know, yeah, we get it. You're black. You know, it was like one of those things.
So black people are now the racist because they think your shirt is too loud? I thought the whole reason that you moved to Ghana is because you wanted to be around more black people.
One of the things that has been most amazing about this past year and a half is the fact that we're not black here. Not as our primary identifier.
Yeah, that's totally true because like in the States, you're always black.
I feel bad for not putting in the part where people in the live chat of these two were wishing that Wakanda was real. I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter there was a poll or something I had seen. There was like something, I forgot where it was on Twitter, where it's like, it was telling me that like some chunk of the population genuinely believes in Wakanda's existence. Like they think it's a real place. That is fucking insane to me. That's like saying that Hyperborea is real. Well, Hyperborea is real, so that's different. It's just like, Wakanda is just Hyperborea for black people, right? But Hyperborea is real, guys. Let's go to the ice wall. I think when I do my first fan meetup, when I get big enough, we have 200 people in here in the chat right now. I think I'll get everyone to go do a meetup at the ice wall or at Agartha, the center of the earth. Now the vibranium country.
First and everything else.
Nah, because MLK fought for desegregation and now people want it back. Well, I don't know if they want it back, but the argument that these people are giving is that they were around too many white people in a grocery store and wanted to get away from that or something. Like, I don't know if that's racist, because there have been times where it's just like, I'll be in an area where it's like, holy shit, there's a lot of Indians, like, and I'm very aware of it and I don't want it to last forever, which is like, I don't think I'm racist for that. So I don't know if they're racist, but maybe I am. If that makes me racist, then whatever, bro.
Right.
I mean, only if you constantly feel the need to bring up your race. Anyway, let's see how he
Black fatigue on blacks themselves. Ha ha ha. Well, I don't know if that's true because they went to Africa.
believes white
I don't want it to last forever. LMFAO what? I mean, it's just, that's obvious. I don't want it to last forever.
people perceive the shirt.
For the white people, it was weird because they were looking at me like, who's this dude? You know? Again, what point is he trying to prove? You know, they were on me. And I know it's because of what I wore, because I went back the next day and nobody looked at me any different, and I had on, you know, just an Adidas shirt and a hat. So
you were dressed appropriately for your race.
Yeah. And so it just made me aware of, you know, how I was presenting myself. I couldn't just wear what I wanted to wear and be comfortable without noticeable eyes on me. I didn't like that.
So this is called the spotlight effect, where people tend to overestimate how much others are paying attention to them.
Their main character syndrome, yeah.
He felt anxiety wearing that shirt in America, so he projected his negative feelings onto people looking at him. He also could have simply been looking at people more often because of the anxiety, which would prompt them to look back and result in more staring. But based on his story, no one told him that they didn't like the shirt, nor did he ask anyone what they thought. He just felt like they were negatively judging him. Now, me personally, I don't have any problem with his shirt. I mean, it's never that serious, to be honest. It's a fucking shirt. How old's this guy worried about a shirt? You're like bald. Aren't you bald? Like, wouldn't that be the thing that you're more self-aware about? Your shiny, bald, milk dud head. It's cute. I can't talk. Look at my fucked up haircut. Mine's chopped. I look like Hitler Youth, okay? But you're more worried about the shirt? I don't really understand that. Like, wouldn't I just don't know. The shirt's fine. I think the design looks pretty cool and I like the color. I don't see why anyone would judge you poorly because of it. But I mean, come on. Surely they must have at least one example of actual racism that they've experienced that's not just in their head.
We were at a Walmart.
60 years old worrying about what people think of your shirt.
And we were standing in line, and the person in front of me who checked out, a white, middle-aged gentleman, the cashier was a younger, blonde, you know, vibrant girl. The gentleman in front of me, hey sir, how are you doing today? Great, thank you. Did you need anything else? Nope. Have a great day. Gone.
What are we talking about? You bought groceries? How is this noteworthy?
get up there, and I'm waiting for her to greet me, and she never did. So I was like, oh. So I, being me, was like,
how is this content?
Big smile. Hey, how are you today? Fine. Okay, so we finished the whole thing, right? And I'm waiting. I get my receipt, and I'm like, thank you. I didn't get a have a great day. I didn't get a you're welcome. I didn't get a goodbye. I didn't get anything. My mom was with me, and we took a few steps away, and she was like, well, that was different.
I don't know, maybe she forgot. Cashiers check out like hundreds of people per day.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't exactly call this racism. Racism is like if someone beat you up because you're the wrong...
No one said have a good day, and that's racism. Racism is when you get your receipt and then you go on your way.
...wrong color, or prevented you from using certain public amenities, or made you abide by a different set of laws. Something that is not an example of racism is, people looked at me when I wore this orange shirt. I mean, this is so dumb that it reminds me of those girls who go to the gym while filming for their OnlyFans or their Fansly pages, saying, oh my god, that guy looked in my direction. He sexually assaulted me.
Do you feel like
Bro, this was crazy. I remember when this happened, and we all had to pretend like it was even in the realm of possibility for this woman to have been, like, looked at like this. You're chopped. You're chopped.
My god, that guy looked in my direction. He's sexually assaulted.
Like, we're so self-absorbed when it's not actually deserved, so we have to project that there's actually hundreds of men looking at me in order to inflate our own idea of reality. Surely everyone's looking at me just so I can make myself feel better. I can kindle the flame of my own identity.
Assaulted me.
Do you feel like you felt the impact of all of these microaggressions and slights and...
In 2025, microaggressions, a word that has been dead for 8 years, and you've dug it up.
Requirements for code switching and staying in your place.
Oh my God.
All of the things we just kind of talked about. Did you feel the weight of that before you started traveling?
Oh no, microaggressions. Code switching, how terrible. Code switching is when you change your behavior based on the environment that you're in, which is something that everyone of all races does on a constant basis. I act differently around my friends from how I act around my grandparents. And yes, I also act differently when I'm around different races. But these people will have you believe...
That's kind of funny. That's a great soundbite.
I act differently around different races.
...that it's belligerent racism.
That's awesome.
If an Asian person asks you to take off your shoes before entering the house. Oh my god, the Asians are forcing us to code switch and be less black because they don't want dirt on their floors.
We were out at a store. The boys were behaving the exact same way that they behave when we're out at stores in Ghana. There was no, like, they weren't acting crazy. Our kids are
pretty well-mannered.
Yeah. They're not ridiculous. But yeah, it was just uncomfortable. And I know that sounds really weird. Leo was doing what Leo usually does. He would take something off the shelf and bring it to me and ask if, we could have this. And then if I said no, he would put it back. If I said yes, he'd put it in the cart. But I felt like I had to, tell him not to touch things and, stay with me and don't talk loud. And all of a sudden I felt like I was correcting him. Stop being so black. Don't be yourself. People are judging you because of your color. You're the only black person in the room. You can't be you. You have to be the different version of you. Let's figure out how to code switch at the age of 6.
What? What does any of this have to do with race? It sounds like kids just being kids, followed by you instructing them on how to act in public. But for some reason, you've added this extra unnecessary level of anxiety to it. Honestly, it sounds like they were already behaving properly, and you unnecessarily felt the need to tell them, don't make the white man mad. Which, speaking of microaggressions, that kind of villainizes white people to your kids. This is so ridiculous, even if you assume that all the white people in the store were secretly judging her children. How is that worse than people constantly trying to scam and backstab you in Africa?
As a very wise Ghanaian elder told me, don't trust anyone. Anyone. He specifically said,
as a wise elder told me, in the country that you're now living in, do not trust the people that you are living around and are expected to coexist with. They are your enemies. This motherfucker literally said an elder told him that Ghana is an FFA, that at all times he should be on edge and have his guard up because people will scam you and they will fuck you over and they will ruin your life. Hope it was worth it, lil' bro. Hope it was worth it.
I don't trust him. He's pointing at his wife. He's pointing at his son.
Do you feel like it takes...
Like it's funny. Like it's funny, but it's true. This did get said to you.
Away from the experience because you always have to be on guard. Doesn't that like minimize?
Yeah, doesn't that like minimize the experience?
You know, there's dangers and you want to look out for them.
That is
so yes. That's awesome.
Crazy. You would rather live in a society where you can trust no one than live in a place where a cashier forgets to say hi to you.
What a fucking stupid decision. And honest to God, I don't want to say that you deserve it, because I don't think people deserve bad things to happen to them just because they moved to Africa. But like, if you're aware of the trade you're making, why would you make the bad trade? Usually this stuff happens by deception. Like, usually it's people who get deceived into making a bad choice because they believe the outcome to be different. They think that things are going to go one way and then they get rug pulled. You fully knew what you were giving up. Like, the reason that you left was because of a few people not saying thank you or you're welcome. So this is just a foolish decision that you've made.
But as much as there are people who watch CNN who do a ridiculous thing.
Like, this isn't even like the victim of propaganda. This isn't someone who has like, you know, been made to believe that the world is a certain way. This is someone who has just decided that it's worth it to be in a worse position. Can't make this up.
There are also plenty of black people who hate this messaging and are tired of the racism narrative where no actual racism is occurring.
I am black, I'm not oppressed. I am free. Like, I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am black. Black is black more than any race. Where's the Black Lives Matter? Why don't you go? You start your kids at home. Why don't you start? I'm not carrying anything saying Black Lives Matter. I know I matter.
This fuck-ass Sigma music in the background. Are you serious? This is brain rot.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Well, at least my cut's better than hers.
Oh, that's no. In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying there's more jobs to be in.
These people aren't your friends. They want to keep you down and demotivated so that you can't do any more than a low-wage job. That is the actual racism. You think these people want to help you when they constantly have this passive-aggressive set of lowered expectations for certain races? Like that statue of a black woman in New York where the creator was like, hey, let's represent black people with an obese woman who has her hands on her hips and kind of has an angry face. I just want to make sure that we reinforce as many negative black stereotypes as possible, while I say that we're providing representation for the marginalized. The best part is that a bunch of black people in the comments on the artist's Instagram are saying that they hate the statue. Again, these people aren't your friends. I mean, they call being on time racist.
Oh, it is though. It is racist to be on time. The fuck? Like, what?
Don't want you to be able to keep a job.
I pull that one out every time I'm late.
These days, they would look at that movie Stand and Deliver and say it's bad because a math teacher teaches Mexican kids calculus so they can get good paying jobs and experience a much higher standard of living. These people would say that you're whitewashing them or forcing them to live with aspects of whiteness by just trying to get them a good job.
I want to have a conversation with you today about whiteness. I was having a
Is this a dude?
great chat today
He, them.
with a dear friend of mine who is a black woman, and we were talking about white women and white supremacy and how a lot of white people uphold white supremacy by just existing. I mean, we
The fuck does that even mean? If you exist, you're holding up white supremacy. If you're white and you're breathing, good job, racist. Congrats, you fucking dick. The reason that black people are having it so hard is because you're breathing. You understand that your existence upholds white supremacy? So dumb. How do we end up here, chat? Because honestly, every day I wake up and I realize that videos like this exist, and then I just really want to... I'm honestly, like that 21 Pilots song, wishing that we could turn back time to the good old days. Not that this stuff didn't exist back then, but it didn't exist back then. Like, literally, this didn't exist back then. This is new. This is, like, recent. People always say shit. They say things like, trans people have existed for thousands of years. Like, that's just, like, not true. You understand? You understand that's not true? Like, it's just wrong. You're wrong. It's like, it's factually wrong. Like, when were they doing surgeries on minors in history? Can you please refer to that? But no, but it would always existed. There was always been a mental thing. That's just slop. Like, that's just like spiritual, like Indian tribe slop. Like, they actually had a third gender described in it. It's just like, you're fucking, like, you understand that you're believing something from the same people that they could like control rain and weather. Like,
we do see people of color go the capitalist route and try to become billionaires, but at the same time, it's always in proximity to whiteness.
You've got to be kidding me. Here, watch Ironheart instead of Stand and Deliver, where the hero obtains her superpower by stealing it, and instead of being good out of a desire to help people, she wants to be iconic.
I want to build something undeniable, something iconic.
Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness. I can give you the tools to help you carry out your vision.
The fuck am I watching?
But anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done.
Right, don't just make her a thief, make her arrogant and selfish too. You know how Spider-Man sacrifices the things he wants in life to help people? Sure, there are problems and there are plenty of things that I would like to fix about this country, but the reality is that no matter where you go, you're gonna have to deal with at least some BS.
Why is it so hard for foreigners to get a license in Japan?
I really don't know, but it took me...
What on earth is that AI Star Wars shirt from Temu?
22 tries to do it. Basically, I failed it the first time, failed it the second time, and I heard that, you know, maybe by the third time you'll pass it.
So the English test is a little harder than the Japanese test?
No, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder, not a little bit, a lot harder.
Do you feel like it's discriminatory against foreigners to make this so hard to get a license?
Yeah, but that's the life you live in Japan.
And you've been here how long?
25 years.
And you have your license now?
I have my driver's license now. I'm driving, and I love it.
Yeah, this is annoying, and it should be changed in the future, and certainly Japan has its problems, but it's not a deeply oppressive system where people walk around in chains all the time, and neither is America. I think probably the message of the day here is gratitude. I say that because I see a lot of people who are just dissatisfied and unhappy all the time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that at the end of the day, like, you know, especially if you're born in America, you have to understand it's pretty good here. Like, all things considered, it's still pretty good here. And at the end of the day, you may want to move, and maybe there is a nicer place for you to live in, maybe a place in this world that you'll enjoy more. And for that, I hope you enjoy it. But, you know, a lot of people are just ungrateful, and they think that they can get it better, and they take it for granted. Good video.